The evidence return already listed what police had found inside Camille Porter's bedroom. The problem was that no officer had entered her house yet. At 5:48 that morning, Noah Keene sat inside the Havenport Police Department's digital evidence room, reviewing the search file assigned to Detective Grant Holcomb. The recovery field was complete. Restricted operational documents recovered from rear bedroom cabinet. Noah checked the body camera dashboard. Every camera assigned to the search team was still docked at headquarters. Grant appeared behind him and told him to leave the form open. When Noah pointed out that it already said recovered, Grant said the team would confirm it. Noah's cursor remained beside the verification box. He did not click it. He did not report it either. 31 minutes later, the first body camera showed Grant outside a small two-bedroom house on Alder Street. The porch paint had faded. One step carried a repair mark. Nothing about the property matched the threat described in Grant's request. Camille Porter opened the interior door before the team struck the outer lock. She was a black woman in her early 60s, wearing a dark sweater and plain house shoes. Her hands were visible. She asked to see the full warrant. Grant showed the signed page but kept the supporting attachment folded behind it. He said they were verifying military identity claims and possession of restricted records. Camille read the address and search limits, then asked what document had created probable cause. Grant said the matter would be addressed at the station. The answer did not match the question. Two officers moved past her. Grant ordered Camille handcuffed for scene control. The white retired service member named in the supporting report had been interviewed without restraints. Camille was not offered that option. Framed photographs in the living room showed her in uniform beside soldiers and civilian officials. A certificate beneath one photograph carried her full name. Grant studied the man standing beside her and asked whether the materials belonged to him. Camille said they were hers. Grant looked from the photograph to the worn furniture, then entered a note on his tablet. Residence inconsistent with claimed senior command history. Camille saw the words before he turned the screen away. Inside the rear bedroom cabinet sat a wooden box, two folders, and a folded flag. An officer opened the box. Medals rested above letters from military families. Beneath them were deployment orders, a rescue roster with names covered, and a document confirming the pages had been released for personal possession. Grant photographed the operation code but not the release confirmation attached behind it. He ordered the entire box bagged. Camille asked which page still carried an active classification marking. Grant accused her of attempting to direct the search. She asked that the body camera record that she had shown him the release page. No one answered. Outside, Ruth Bell stood behind the sidewalk line with her phone raised. She knew Camille had served at a level most neighbors never suspected, but Camille had always protected that part of her life. Ruth did not reveal it. She recorded the time. At 6:26, the wooden box came through the front door for the first time. It had not yet been sealed. Grant walked behind it and told an officer the recovered items matched the original description. In the command vehicle, Noah heard the statement through the live feed. He reopened the evidence form. The same description had been entered 38 minutes before the search began. A message from Grant appeared. Mark Field verified. Noah placed the cursor over the box. The creation history remained visible. Created by Grant Holcomb. 5:48 a.m. He copied the screen into a private review folder, then closed the history window without sending it. Camille was led down the front steps while neighbors watched. Grant carried the wooden box toward the evidence van, as if the search had confirmed something. At the station, he placed it on the interrogation table. A printed evidence label was already attached to the lid. Camille read the preparation time beneath the file code. 5:52 a.m. The label was printed before you open my door. Grant did not answer. Across the building, Noah reopened the version log. The record had not predicted the search. It had written the result. Grant began the second interview with the wooden box between them. He did not ask where the documents came from. He asked why someone living in a modest house had kept records connected to senior military operations. Camille looked at the evidence label. Which page is still classified? Grant opened the folder, but did not answer. He said the department had recovered materials matching the original report. Camille asked when the recovery report had been written. Grant closed the folder. Behind the observation glass, Noah Keene watched the interview feed. The private copy of the version history remained on his workstation. He had not told anyone it existed. At 10:14, Grant sent a summary to the Public Information Desk. It described Camille as a retired service member under investigation after sensitive records had been recovered from her residence. It did not mention the release certificate or the evidence label time. By noon, the photograph of Camille leaving her home in handcuffs appeared on local television. The wording did not accuse her directly. It allowed viewers to complete the accusation themselves. Chief Lauren Pike entered Grant's office before the broadcast ended. She asked whether the Commonwealth's attorney had reviewed the search return. Grant said the file was complete. Lauren told him not to speak again until legal review was finished. He nodded, then scheduled a briefing for the next morning. Assistant Commonwealth's attorney Erin Caldwell received the file that afternoon. She opened the warrant, body camera index, and electronic search return. The conflict appeared in less than 4 minutes. Recovered item entered at 5:48. Entry into residence at 6:19. Erin called Grant and asked why the result existed before the search. He said the language had been prepared as a template. Erin read the sentence aloud. It named the rear bedroom cabinet and described restricted operational documents as recovered. A template could describe what officers expected to find. It could not certify that they had found it. Grant said the source report had been unusually specific. Erin asked for the source verification record. There was none. At the evidence unit, Grant placed a confirmation form beside Noah's keyboard. It stated that a synchronization delay had caused the early timestamp. Noah knew each edit carried a server time that a body camera upload could not change. Grant reminded him that his elevated access review was due at the end of the month. Noah read the signature line. He remembered Camille showing the release page. Grant had turned away from it. Noah had watched the record remain unchanged. He pushed the form back. Across town, Ruth Bell reviewed the video from her sidewalk. At 6:26, the wooden box came through Camille's door. 1 minute later, Grant said the recovered property matched the list. Ruth sent the original file to Erin. She did not post an edited clip. The metadata mattered more than public reaction. Malcolm Sykes saw the news report that evening. He had served under Camille years earlier. He submitted a formal verification request to the Military Records Compliance Office. Brigadier General Dana Merritt reviewed the operation codes, release markings, and possession authorization. The answer came back in writing. The documents were declassified personal copies. Camille Porter had been authorized to retain them. Her service record remained restricted because she had commanded a joint evacuation unit. The verification did not place Camille above the law. It removed the reason Grant had claimed the law required her detention. After the night shift began, Noah opened the version history, Grant's message, the body camera log, and the unsigned confirmation form. Then he activated a legal hold. The system required a reason. He typed, "Search result recorded before scene entry." He sent the notice to Erin and Lauren. He also admitted that he had seen the conflict before the team entered the house and had failed to report it. Within minutes, Lauren suspended Grant's editing access. Erin stopped the transfer request. Grant kept the press briefing on the schedule. The next morning, 3 times appeared on the screen behind the empty podium. 5:48, the recovery report. 6:19, the broken door. 6:26, the wooden box. Grant entered, carrying his prepared statement. Lauren kept the microphone off. Lauren Pike stepped to the podium before Grant could reach the microphone. She stated that the investigation into Camille Porter had been suspended. The department was now reviewing the legality of the search itself. Grant remained beside the podium with his prepared statement unopened. Erin Caldwell displayed the first timestamp. At 5:48 that morning, Grant had entered a recovery statement describing restricted documents inside Camille's rear bedroom cabinet. At 6:19, the first body camera recorded officers entering the house. At 6:26, Ruth Bell's video showed the wooden box leaving the bedroom for the first time. The 3 records appeared together on the screen. Grant called the first entry planning language. Erin opened the version history. The sentence had never been changed after the search. It already named the room, the cabinet, and the documents as recovered. Then she displayed Grant's message asking Noah Keene to mark the entry field verified. Noah stood near the rear wall. He did not look away. Dana Merritt entered with the military verification packet. She confirmed that every page removed from Camille's home had been lawfully released for personal possession. None carried an active classification marking. Only then did Dana identify Camille as a retired major general who had commanded a joint evacuation unit. There was no salute, no applause. Dana stated that Camille's service explained why the documents existed. It did not decide whether the search was lawful. The return would have been false if officers had entered the home of a teacher, a mechanic, or anyone else. Camille entered without handcuffs. Her wooden box rested on the evidence table. Grant said he had acted on the information available to him. Camille looked at the printed label attached to the lid. "You had the result before you had the evidence." She said nothing else. Aaron announced that no charge would be filed. She had already submitted an emergency request to invalidate the search return. Camille's detention record, investigative alert, and sensitive material note would be removed from local and state databases. The original press statement was also withdrawn. Lauren ordered the corrected statement sent to every reporter, station, and public page that had received the accusation. It identified the search as procedurally invalid and confirmed that Camille had possessed no prohibited material. Grant's evidence access was disabled before he left the room. He was ordered to surrender his case credentials and was removed from all search activity. He could no longer prepare warrant returns, direct evidence collection, approve property descriptions, or speak for the department. The consequences continued after the cameras were turned off. The internal review found that Grant had not created a harmless template. He had certified a result that had not happened and used that result to support Camille's detention. He was dismissed. His conduct was referred to the State Certification Board and an outside prosecutor for review. Aaron ordered an audit of every search return Grant had submitted during the previous 3 years. Several contained recovery fields opened before officers arrived at the listed locations. Those cases were assigned to independent counsel. The affected defendants were notified. Evidence obtained through unreliable returns was placed under legal review. Noah testified during the investigation. He admitted that he had seen the conflict before the raid and remained silent. He was not presented as a hero. He completed evidence integrity training and received a formal warning for failing to report the discrepancy immediately. His later legal hold preserved the original data and prevented anyone from rewriting the sequence. The department created an independent reporting channel that no case supervisor could block. The evidence platform was also changed. Officers could enter property they intended to seek. They could not enter property as recovered until body camera data confirmed entry at the location. A detective who wrote a warrant could no longer certify the final return alone. An uninvolved supervisor had to compare the document with body camera time, evidence seals, and scene logs. Camille's property was returned through an independent inventory. Each item in the wooden box was recorded as personal property. The city paid for the damaged door, the broken cabinet, and the legal costs created by her detention. When Camille returned home, Ruth helped replace the photographs on the wall. The house looked the same from the street. The official record did not. 6 months later, a redacted copy of Grant's search return hung inside the Havenport Evidence Training Room. 2 times were marked beside it. 5:48, when the accusation entered the system. 6:19, when the door was opened. On the training computer below it, the recovered item field remained locked until the body camera confirmed entry. The department no longer had to ask officers to remember what had happened to Camille. The system would not let them repeat it. This story is fictional,